Hi there. I'm Mark Alfano. I'm an associate professor of philosophy at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia.
And hi, I'm Emily Sullivan. I'm an assistant professor at Eindhoven University of Technology.
And we're the co-authors of the paper Online Trust and Distrust, which Emily is going to summarize for you briefly.
Yeah, so in this paper, we talk about how the social media platforms have really changed the way that testimonial norms work, and how trust and distrust are two epistemic concepts that really matter for social media. And then we also discuss the way in which these social media platforms are basically natural monopolies over trust. And so they're kind of manufacturing our trust and distrust. And we give ways in which maybe we can try to regulate or combat the way in which these platforms are monopolies.
Yeah, so just to explore a couple questions related to the paper, I think it's worth thinking about why both trust and distrust are important online, because it seems like sometimes both traditional media and social media try to not only get us to believe things, sort of first order trust, but also to trust them or to distrust their competitors. So for instance, Sean Hannity might tell you, you can't trust the mainstream media, that kind of thing. Or people on Facebook would tell you, you can't trust what you hear on Twitter or whatever it might be. So I'm curious, Emily, do you have any thoughts on why both trust and distrust are important, especially when it comes to online communications?
Yeah, so we think about the way that just we communicate online by sharing information, say on Twitter. It takes very little action for you to press the retweet button. And so trust really plays a role there, right? Because if you just have this immediate sense of trust that the information you're getting is accurate, you're going to be retweeting it, and then it goes out very quickly. And we talk about how quickly things can go out can create these types of epistemic problems in the paper. But distrust also really matters too, because when we're thinking about, well, does it matter if my newsfeed has a bunch of conspiracy theories? Maybe not if I'm distrustful of those theories. If I'm distrustful of the platform itself, then maybe I will be less likely to retweet what I hear because I know that their algorithm isn't really for geared towards epistemic values, but rather towards engagement or profit. So if I'm distrustful of the platform, that it might be an epistemic virtue to then change your behavior of how you might tweet something. So we do think that it's important to trust the right people, but it's also important to then distrust the right people as well.
Yeah, I think that's an important takeaway. And it's something that Honora O'Neill has remarked upon, that you don't want to just like have as much trust as possible. It's not a good in itself. It's rather something that needs to be fine-tuned. And I guess one way to fine-tune it is to get individuals to figure out who to trust how much on what topics. But another way to fine-tune it is through algorithms and platform design. And that's sort of the second thing, is the main thing that we address in the paper. There's a lot of implications. There's a lot of sort of potential upshots in the paper. Emily, do you have any idea like what you think is the most important, or maybe the most immediate implication of what we discussed in the paper?
Well, the immediate implication just is that I think we made a good case why these social media platforms, Facebook in particular, since it owns such a huge market share, just is a natural monopoly. I mean, so this is something that the current US government is looking into right now. So are these companies monopolies, and what to do about it? So I think that's the most important question, is whether they are monopolies, which seems obvious that they are, but also what then to do with that type of monopoly over our information, right? So historically there's been this kind of separation between like media and the state and such that they you don't have these kinds of corporate interests involved in media, and maybe that should be important here as well.
Yeah, I think I agree. Well, I hope everyone will have a chance to glance at the paper or maybe even read the whole thing. And nice to see you, Emily, from halfway around the world.
Yeah.
Take care.
You too.